This is the result. Thanks. Dear members, another sketch. This time we're gonna make a 3/4 front view sketch, and it's gonna be done with the pencil and markers. All right. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so this is my line drawing. I will just start with markers, and I will take a marker number 8 to start making all the dark areas. Okay, for example, the side reflection on the glass, the reflections on the windshield. Okay, I will also show a little bit of the transparency that we have in this area, and then of course all the dark spot here of the cast shadow of this car onto the ground, and the lower part. The front part also will be dark because it's part of the design of the car. Okay, I will just leave an area like this one that is going to be just body color. Okay, let's see what happens. So now I have my dark value, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use again the same number 8 just to start creating some depth in those values. For example, here I have to make this part darker. Here I will also make this part darker. Okay, I will also make this part darker. So that we have a feeling of a three-dimensional black element here. As you can see. And I make darker all the part that is really in shadow inside the car. For example, the wheel well. Now I leave those little triangles a little bit light because that's where the light hits the tire, and we will see after later when I will use a little bit of my white pencil how we're gonna make that part a little bit more clear, I would say. All right, now that I did that, I take the number 10, okay, and I try to push darker all the spots that I made dark, okay, because I am creating really strong contrast. Like that. On top here, part of that shadow. Okay. Under the car. Now I'll take a number 2, which is a light one, and I will start making the body. Okay, so body reflections, shading on the body, stuff like that. Let's see. A little bit in the back of that reflections. Then we have this line, and here, as you can see, I really go over the whole surface. Then we come back here. Okay, you see, now we starting having a feeling of how this car is made. And what I have to do now, always with the number 2, I will hit again on the side to make sure that I create better three-dimensional effect between the three sections. You know, this section here that is facing the light, this section here which is pretty straight, which is the real color, and then this section here which is bending inside. So this one should be darker. Then I make that dark, you see? And here too. So after I did that, while it's drying, I take another light marker, and this time a medium tone, still light, it's number 4. Okay, so I jump one number, from number 2 to number 4. You see, now we have the car. All right, so now the only thing I need to work on is the wheels. Okay, now for the sky tone, I will go and look for a very light. I have here my sky tone markers, and I will use a sort of violet and the frosted blue. Okay, those two, I'll put those two together. Okay, as you can see, this is a frosted blue, and this is a very lila, very light, cold violet color. So first with the sky tone, let's see what happens. So that this car will look like metallic, you know? You see? Then we can add a little bit here inside the reflectors of the light, and a little bit here. Then we can do the same thing on this surface. Like that, very lightly, without exaggeration. All right, now I let it dry. Okay, it has to really dry well. And after that, I will use my lila. As you can see, this will give a feeling of a sky that, I don't know, when it's raining day, you know, it's very kind of cold weather, and therefore the sky is between the blue and the violet, you know. It's not in the morning, we are basically in the beginning of the late afternoon, when the sky turns really cool colors or cold colors. Okay, so it's dry. Let's do it. And I will do this only on top. You see? I don't know if you can see well with the camera. A little bit there too. Okay, I let it dry, and then I will go over again. I can use also this lavender color, which is also similar to this one. It's just a little bit more grayish, and it's a little bit darker, okay, as a tone. So I can try that, but first I will try the color on another paper. Yeah, that's not bad, you see? Look, this one, to make this part a little bit darker. Okay, let's do it. Now I did that, I go back with this one and I try to blend. That's very important, to blend. Okay, you see, now we really have a nice feeling of blue and dark violet together. Now I will take a little bit of this violet, I will put it here, you see? And I will also put a little bit onto the gray marker, like that, you see? And once we did that, what I can do, just to complete, is that I can take the number 4, again, and I just hit this a little bit more to make just a little bit darker. Okay, you see? Now it's a little bit more defined, which is better. Now, we are done with the marker. I will take my pencil, I will do a little bit of line work. Another thing I have to do also is I will take a number 5 and I would like to make this part underneath a little bit darker, just a little bit darker. Now, down here, I would like to make some tire graphics. And now what's left, it's the white. I take the white and I start making few details. Like that. Onto the wheel. This is a little reflection of the light onto the tire. Very light. Then I'll put a little bit of cut line here too. You see? So little by little, this car is starting to come out, you know, to leave. So here I will put a little bit of highlight on this part, you see, of the front area, front bumper. So you can see better the three-dimensional feeling of this. Then I put a little highlight on top of this. What I'm doing on those lines is just the reflection onto the parts of this car. Where there is a radius, there is always a refraction of the light reflecting inside, creating that little highlight. And that's exactly what I'm trying to reproduce here, okay? Like, for example, here too. Okay, so now that I did that, the last thing that is left for us to do is to add a little bit. So we have a cool area, which is this one, very cool, okay, cool colors. And in this area, we can add a little bit of the sun color. So I'm gonna mix those two colors, okay, so that we get that feeling, all right? So I start first with this one. Like that. I just, I don't do very strong, okay? I just do it kind of light. And then I use the orange to get that feeling of a real sunlight that is coming down and becomes more reddish, you see? And I go with a very light pressure because I want to measure, not to make too much, because then it won't be too believable, you know? You gotta do with a little bit of, you gotta be very careful when we put this type of very colorful highlights. Okay, so you see, now we have the sun, the cool part of the sky on the other side, reflecting on top of the car, very cold. And the last thing I have to do is just put the highlight with a little bit of white acrylic. So as you can see, I am preparing. So focal point is in this area. Nice ellipse. Little highlights there where the light is filtering through the glass reflection. Then we have another one here. We have one here. Here, where we put our white line. Then we can put a little bit here for the tire reflection. And then we have to add a little bit of those reflections where in the light, front light, for example, here, because we need really that contrast, like chrome element inside. You see? Look, it looks really very realistic. Then we need a little bit here. Now, because this acrylic sometimes is too much transparent, as you can see here, I can still see the black. So what I will do, I will just go back, now that it's a little bit dry, and I will put on top of it again, a little bit more, to make sure that I really get a very nice white. You see? Much better. And here too. The quick sketch in color, it's done. And I really hope you like it, that this can be useful to you. One thing we can do is just to make this a little bit darker here and then blend it, you see? Like that. It's more natural. Okay, thank you very much. And this is the results. Thanks.